Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
90 series panic bar. I'm not a door guy, so whatever terms I may use, please overlook them. It's got the hidden bar and grabs at the top and the bottom kind of situation. Glass door, set of church. We're contemplating or trying to look into our options to do some type of, remote access, electric latch, electric strike, magnetic, something. I'm just not feeling very optimistic that I have a lot of options when it comes to that type of door. I guess I'm just trying to find out from somebody that knows more about it than me what options there may be.
Yeah, sure. So there's, you can do it. You can most certainly do it. So that's for sure. The question becomes is just what's the path of least resistance to get there.
Yeah.
So you've got a 1990, and that 1990. Let's take a look. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 1990 is tough because they don't have that crossbar style. Isn't one where you can pack into it a means to do electric latch retraction or bolt retraction.
I don't see how I could, but again, I'm not a door guy. Obviously, I'm just basing it off. My mind comes to the simple fix, or not simple fix, the simple way to do something like this is what I would just consider a standard, electric strike or electric latch that basically fits in the middle of the door, and when activated, it opens up, and it just allows the door to open, even if it's still in the locked position. So panic bar still works from the inside. But on this type of door, it doesn't have that. There is no center bar, with two doors coming together. It's just basically the two doors come and meet each other. I don't see how you'd be able to. I'm sure there's a way to do anything, but I'm not seeing how there's a simple way to make something like that work. Now, I'm not going to say that you couldn't mount some type of apparatus on the inside of the door, on each door, and then the one door is being held by the other door and create some kind of external apparatus. But I've seen some. So let me look and see what I was looking at. So, is it And I've had so many things I've looked at. I'm lost and confused myself. I saw like there's a Quiet Duo LR100 latch retraction kit, and but what that does is that fits inside the panic bar, but I don't have that type of panic bar. I have just like a kind of a, I don't know, almost like those apparatuses that they used to strap you down in a ride. I mean, it's kind of that type of handle that goes up and down, hinged on the sides, not a flat rectangular bar that you just push in on. But what I've seen options there that you mount something like that inside, and it electrically is pulling. It's basically electrically pushing the panic bar to allow the door to open. But that's not an option with this either. So,
yeah, the LR100 is by SDC, whether it be SDC or Command Access. There's probably others. Certainly the manufacturer of the exit device as well. The issue is none of them offer a add-on retraction kit for the 1990. There's a dozen or more models of latch retraction kits for other devices, not crossbars like what you have. You don't have the real estate in the 1990 to fit such an apparatus. So if you were to change the exit device to one that could take an add-on kit, you're gold. Or you just change the exit device to a type that it will come with latch retraction from the factory. That will still work on your doors. The issue with any sort of modification that you touched on initially is you've got to be code compliant, and you've got to be able to get out, and you've got to be able to get in. So adding some electric locking device is not going to work because you're still secured from the exit device from the outside. If you leave the exit device in the dogged or unbolted position at all times, you're good. The issue is you're not good because you don't have emergency egress compliance. Something's still locking the door, So
that's right. Yeah, and I've looked at just the magnet, the maglock situation, but the thing I keep coming back to there is you lose power and you have doors that are open.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. I mean, maglocks are inherently fail-safe. The issue with a maglock is that there's additional code that you have to comply with. You've got to have a push button within 60 inches of the opening.
That's right.
And you'll de-energize the electromagnet, but you either replace the 1990 with something that will act as it's just called it's a touch bar is what it is, except it's capacitive. It looks like a panic device, but as soon as you touch it, it's basically a request to exit switch. It opens the circuit, de-energizes the maglock, and you can get out. That all works.
Yeah.
You can get in with your card access. You can put a power supply there with so many batteries that it'll give you a weekend worth of holding power if you put enough batteries. When the power goes out, or just a couple and give yourself 4 hours, whatever. But the bottom line is the 1990 that you've inherited is the it's the stuck cue ball on the billiard table.
So from your professional, because again, I don't know what would be the least expensive yet accomplish, with the least number of potential issues that arise because of all the craziness that's added and created. Just replace the panic device, or replace the entire door,
I don't know that you need to replace the door. I think the real cost is going to come in getting the material installed. I think the hardware itself is not going to be the part that is difficult. I think what you could do is you could change one or both exit devices so that they match. You can put one on there like a 1690 from Doormatic. That's going to have latch retraction. You're going to have to find someone that can do the conversion in the door itself, drill new holes, the whole 9 yards, prep it for new vertical rods, and it will have latch retraction on board. You get the power supply. The electrician figures out how to get power there. You've got a mechanic that can do the door work. And then you add, so the 4 basic components of the circuit is what we need to, well, first what you have to do is define the operational description. How do you get in? How do you get out? What's the normal state of the door? How do you get in? That's 2. How to get out is 3. And then 4, what happens when the power goes out? So you define that. Then you just hit the 4 points of the circuit. The conductor, that's the wire. The switch, that's your card access on the outside or your PIN code, whatever. Your load, which would be the exit device, and then your power supply. So, operational description first. This is what I want it to do in all instances, in all scenarios, and then you just do it. If it was me, if you had to have access control or remote sort of control over the door, yeah, one 1690 electric latch retraction, one that is there to match, or what you could do is add a mullion to the opening and then do a rim device on one door. That's electric latch retraction. The advantage of the mullion is it is most definitely more secure than what you have now, because I can put a coat hanger between those 2 doors and pull one of those bars open and get in. A lot of people do that. A mullion seeks to defeat that. So, everything I just said is, for an exit device and a power supply, it's a couple grand, let's say. So,
yeah. Well, and it just helps. We were looking at the Ubiquiti door access option because we currently have, I don't know if you're familiar with that. They've added several things the last few years, so it's probably relatively new to the door access world. But, they have a door access controller, and that's powered with PoE++. And then your locking mechanism and your access devices are powered from that box. I mean,
they're not in this case. The Ubiquiti is just the access control, and it's the brain box. But the 4 parts of the circuit you still need. You wouldn't power the exit device off of one of these because it will probably not provide the quantity of amps needed. It may. You just have to look. But you're probably going to want a power supply so that you've got the right amperage. But that's just a matter of what can the relays on the Ubiquiti, what are they rated for, and will the exit device be satisfied with what it can provide? So that's easy. Yeah, that's just whether or not you need a separate power supply.
Sure. Okay. So a 14 or a 1690 would be the simplest retro and keep everything else as it is.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly.
Okay.
I would think it is. I mean, you could. Yeah, that's the issue. Unless you leave that. Yeah, I just don't see an elegant way without replacing it. Even if you leave it dogged open continually, and something else is providing the secure functionality over the door, you'd add a sensor to the inside, so anytime anyone walked towards it, it's going to open the circuit, drop the mag, access control on the outside. It's square peg round hole stuff. It's just not elegant.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if you ask 5 people like me, you'll get 5 different answers too.
Sure. Well, and I obviously can reach out to a local locksmith, but then I'm leery of what kind of responses and answers I'm going to get there too. I don't really know locally who the person to ask would be. And I mean, our church is full of people that can do things. It's just knowing what's the best way to do it and not doing it and then a month later realizing, we went the hard way around all this. But I was afraid that what I had come to the conclusion of was the accurate answer, and that is what we have is just not going to, because the mag lock at the top of the door and leaving it dogged open, as you say, yeah, that will work. It's just to me, I lose the interest in that route when I realize that at a power outage, you've only got backup for so long. And we're trying to avoid the inconvenience of having to go constantly and let people in versus giving keys out to everybody. And it's like if we're going to have to go every time the power goes out and manually lock the door back, that in itself could be a bigger inconvenience. So,
yes, yes. However, you can add batteries. I mean, you could put enough batteries so that you could get a weekend out of it. I mean, you put batteries in parallel or whatever the voltage is. It's going to be 24 volts, so you're going to be doing parallel and series, and you could get dozens of hours. I'm not suggesting it because it's a lot of batteries, but it could be done. And at the end of the day, if you expect a power, what's realistic for a power outage? Is more than 12 hours realistic? It's happened to all of us, but
sure. Yeah. It's not common.
Yeah, it's not. So you really may need enough for 6 hours, and you'll know, okay, well, if a power outage, which happens once a year to begin with, and it's more than 12 hours or 6 hours, now we have a problem. So. Yeah.
Okay. Well, man, I appreciate your time. I really do. I hope it has not been just a waste of your time. I was looking at it from a standpoint if we needed components and parts to make something like this happen. I mean, I obviously need a resource to make it happen. I don't know if you would be willing or would want to provide me with, hey, here's a list of what you need to make this happen.
It's elementary. I mean, it's the Falcon 1690 and the catalog page. It's literally elementary. It's the 1690 with the electric latch retraction, and then it's the power supply that you have to have for that. And then, your Ubiquiti is gonna be the brain box, that part, and then you just got to figure out what the switch is on the outside. Is it a keypad? Is it a card reader? Is it both?
Well, and
there's a million of those.
And Ubiquiti has that as well. That
just make sure it's weatherized or weather resistant.
Yeah, well, and this will be under an awning, so it won't be like fully exposed. But it's all right. Well, I mean, just part number. So is this the command access MLR K1-FAL17?
No, you wouldn't do that, because if you go to a 1690, you're just going to do you're going to order it with the original electric latch retraction. The command access and the LR100 from SDC you mentioned, that's after the fact stuff. So I get you. If you're doing a new device, you'll just order it from Falcon Doormatic, with the latch retraction in it. No reason to go buying a separate piece and then shoehorning it in there. There's, let the factory install.
We're just gutting the whole thing and starting over.
You're removing a handful of screws, and you're removing 10 screws and getting the door on sawhorses and figuring it out.
Gotcha. All right. Is that something you sell?
The 1690?
Yeah, the piece
Oh,
that you're saying we
right.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing
Yeah.
I don't sell is the Ubiquity thing. I don't know much about it, but one access control system is an access, you know what I mean? It's just,
Sure.
it's gloss, and then the underlying is relays. That's all there is to it. So,
Yeah, that's right.
and user
Can you
interface.
give me Can you give me part numbers for what you're talking about then, so I can make note of it, or do you want to email it to me? Or
It's just the 1690. There's you're welcome to send me an email. I can send you back the cut sheet, and that will list the power. Well, the power supply will be mentioned, and then your Ubiquity has the keypad. I would possibly provide you with one part, maybe two. You have to figure out how to get the wiring to the device. I may sell you a third part for that. But it's just the 1690 with electric latch retraction, and the power supply is a PS. Don't quote me. It's a 914 or a 902 2RS. I'd have to look, but that's just what we put on the order confirmation. What that part number is. It's just it's a steel enclosure with a bunch of electronics in it, and possibly some backup batteries.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, no, you wouldn't need that, but yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, my email's plastered all over the website. Sales. My name is Richard. Send me an email. I'm happy to type that and send it to you. But there's nothing past what I've said that I think you would need.
Okay. Well, sounds great, man. I appreciate your time.
Where are you? What part of the country are you calling from?
I'm in Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah. Right on. Okay. I've got yeah. People don't realize how it's not a very tall state, but man, east to west.
Oh yeah.
Take a minute.
I get it all. I get it all the time. The whole Tennessee is beautiful. I'm like, well, see, I'm on the flat side of the state. I mean, people think of Tennessee and they think of mountains.
They think of the eastern part.
Exactly. And so I'm over here with Elvis, but just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, I was there. I've been to Graceland like 8 times, right? I mean, literally.
Yeah. I literally live an hour from it, and I've never been.
Are you? See, that's so funny. I'm from Chicago. People would come and say, don't you want to go to the Sears Tower? Not really. I mean,
it's the big
you want to
building.
go on the lakefront? Not really.
Yeah, that's the way it is. So yeah, me, it's kind of like, I just not interested in going to see in the 1970s with old shag carpet, and it's just not my thing. Plus, there's the joke that Elvis still alive, so we bump into him at Kroger all the time. But it's crazy. So, well, man, I appreciate the time. I will definitely look into this. And again, I'll just do some searching on your site, see if I can find it. That's what I was trying to figure out cost-wise for this 1690. I'm coming up with something that looks like it's $1,092.
Yeah, you're going to be a grand for the yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so I guess I am looking at the right piece. Does that replace the panic bar and everything, or it uses the same panic bar?
No. You're going to take your 1990 completely off the door and put on a new exit. And the problem is, if you want both of the pairs to match, then you're looking at a $600 version or whatever it is of the 1690. Because as you can see, the 1690 and the 1990 don't look the same. One's a crossbar, the other's a touchpad.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, man. Thank you again so much.
I'm glad you called. Have a good day.
Hey, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.